did a lot of brand partnership research and a lot of marketing research about kind of what other labels were doing.
I worked with the collections, doing collections management, and did a lot of research on individual objects.
My roles were reading scripts, writing coverage, and just giving my feedbacks and thoughts on the material I was reading.
I was writing editorials, which involved doing a lot of research into the public policy issue, or maybe it's a cultural issue going on in Philadelphia that you are going to be weighing in on.
I would say that it was the first internship that I felt like there was like a lot or something at stake in the work that I was doing.
I expected it to be more intimidating. For one thing, Rachel, who kind of oversaw the whole internship hiring process, was really helpful, really supportive.
I felt like very integrated to the workspace, and that was special about this internship. I think a lot of the times if somebody's just there for 3 months and gone, it can be easy to just kind of give them grunt work and not interact in as real a way as I got to.
My favorite memory was definitely returning back to the museum a few weeks ago for the opening of the show. It was really rewarding and exciting to see all the hard work and how special of a show it really turned out to be.
I mean, one of the good things about the internship in general, particularly the magazine writing track that I was on, is that, you know, the magazine is pretty short-staffed and they're looking for good ideas. So if you take the initiative to actually pitch something and, you know, show that you're capable, they'll let you do stuff. So I wrote this piece, you know, reported it over the course of half of the summer.
One thing that we did is we took instruments from the music school and took it to this day camp that we were funding through a grant that we had. And we met with the kids who are all visually impaired, and we gave them instruments to try, and they got to like rotate around from instrument to instrument. It was like the first time they were all even touching these instruments, let alone playing them.
New York's an amazing place to work. There are so many networking opportunities in New York. I kept on getting emails from Penn that were like, oh, come to this media networking event hosted by this Penn alum at this like fancy bar place, and I was like, okay, that's awesome. Like, if I wasn't working in New York, I definitely wouldn't have gotten to go to that.
I actually really love theater, so it was so much fun for me to be in New York City because I was sort of in the heart of that. All the Hamilton buzz was going on, so I got to see a bunch of different shows. Also, I got to go to a lot of museums, which was really fun, and I lived at the dorms at NYU, which actually was a really convenient housing place since you pay per week.
I highly, highly recommend to anyone to spend a summer in Philly when you're at Penn, because I was not very social. I didn't do a lot of social stuff, which is not my life normally at Penn. I go out a lot here, and it was so nice. It was so great to be on campus and, you know, around Philly a little bit, but in like a very relaxed way where it's like, it's kind of it's not a big city feel all the time in the summer.
One of the reasons I liked it so much is because I liked a lot of the things that the other people hate. Like the main two things are driving. Like, you will be in your car probably 2 hours a day, but me personally, I don't mind driving. I like to listen to my music. I'd much rather spend an hour in the car in the subway. It's hot, but I think it's beautiful hot. There are beaches everywhere all the time.
Also, if you're out in LA, you should really be looking for other things to do while you're there. Because most of the RealArts you're only doing a few days a week. And I was there 3 days a week, and so I had 4 other days in the week to do other things. And there are so many like opportunities, but it's a matter of being willing to like put in the time, maybe do a volunteer position and not get paid, and sort of just always try to keep an eye and an ear out for production assistant gigs and stuff like that.
So San Francisco, I'd never been before. This is my first time moving out there. I didn't really know very many people. I think it's a really beautiful place to be. The area that the museum is in is really great, and I think just because by virtue of the job that I was doing, I felt very connected to all of the things that were happening around.
So I still keep in touch with my supervisor, Ed and Ben, and I know that I can definitely have someone to reach out to if I want to go to LA and find a job after graduation.
So I never really thought I would want to work in the museum industry. I'm really interested in art, and I'm a marketing concentration, so it kind of worked out in that sense. And I don't know if this changed that necessarily. Maybe I won't still work in a museum, but it was really interesting to get to know what goes on at museums and also the connections that I made. I mean, the arts industry as a whole is very close, so maybe, with orchestras or things on the music side, which is what I'm more interested in, we'll have connections there.
Well, before this internship, I didn't really know what a book distributor did. I know that they were involved with small presses, and I was really interested in that aspect of publishing. But I think I learned a lot about the role of book distributors, also the role of small presses, also the general book market.
I met a lot of people who had been in the music business for a long time, but also found their way to the music business in a weird way, and it wasn't necessarily like they had always, they just jumped into music and had been going ever since. So it was nice to meet people and hear their stories and hear what they had done and what they had studied and what they didn't study.
Go into the application process open, because I didn't know anything about PR, and I ended up finding an awesome internship with them. They weren't even my first choice when I applied, and when I got it, I was like, oh, what is that? But it's really cool, and I loved it, and the people who select these things for you know what they're doing when they see your application. So definitely have an open mind.
My internship was paid, but I decided to apply for funding anyways, and I thought that because my internship was paid that I'd have more success applying for something smaller. So rather than applying for the full $4,000 amount, I applied for a $300 stipend just to pay for my Metro cards for the 3 months of summer.
If you've gotten the internship, congratulations. It's gonna be awesome. Don't try to prepare at all, because you're not gonna be doing the same thing any 2 days in a row. And just be friendly and be outgoing and be willing to do things that you don't necessarily want to do, like cleaning out closets, because the day after you clean out closets, you might get to, listen on a phone conversation with Toby Maguire.
They do a really good job of matching you to the company or place you're working at.
Yeah, it was just an incredibly fun and supportive environment, and I couldn't recommend it more.
RJ and Mingo, unbelievable. I don't know what else to say. So grateful for the opportunity.
This is wonderful. I'm so glad this was able to happen. And yeah, thank you.